welcome back to Intuition Nutrition, the mini-series. I'm here talking with Nicole Liloia.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's good to see you, Nicole.
It's good to see you too. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I was super excited to connect with you because your specialty is mindfulness. And that is something, right, that so many people are talking about these days.
Yeah, it's become a really, really popular buzzword, and I think part of that stems from such a big focus on meditation, and mindfulness is a form of meditation. So I think that's really why it's become popular. We're so busy, we're always on the go, and we're sort of looking for ways to pause and sort of get out of that autopilot mode.
Exactly. And it's so refreshing to know that there's someone like you out there helping people find their way when you walk down the street and everyone's got their cell phones out, right? Or they're just busy in other things. How many times have you been out to dinner with someone and their phone rings and they just pick it up in the middle of a conversation, right? That's not being present.
Yeah, I think, or even, I've gone to dinner and I've seen families, like everyone's on their cell phone, texting, Facebook, playing games, whatever. People aren't making eye contact anymore. People aren't really paying attention to what's going on right here and now.
Right, exactly. So tell me a little bit about how you came to become the mindfulness leader that you are.
So what happened was that I was I was living in New York City, and I was very busy, and I really thought that, stressfulness, being stressed all the time was gonna, make me become successful. I thought if you were stressed and busy, that was, a good thing, because you could tell everybody how busy you were, and I was caught up in a culture where people were complaining all the time, including myself. And when I go out with friends or have dinner or go to work, it was always about talking about all the negative things. And, and I felt that's really how I was trying to connect with people, was to say, oh, I get how hard your life is because mine is too. Mm-hmm. And I think I just sort of made my life harder as a result, because I truly, truly believe that's what people wanted to hear. They wanted to hear about other people, being busy and not having time for things and having a stressful job and being worried about money and, not liking your family or friends or, all those crazy things that you sort of get involved in complaining about. And I just was very, very overwhelmed. And I thought that was a good thing, though. I really thought I was supposed to be that way, and that was what was going to make me successful. And then basically what happened was I left a job that I didn't like. I took time off to travel. And I really realized, you didn't have to be on all the time. Mm-hmm. And then one time I just took a training, because I'm a therapist too. So I took a training on mindfulness because I was hearing a lot about it and I was wondering what it was. And I realized at that training, that I was really never present. I was always in my head. I was really never ever being with the person. Even if I was with somebody or with my friends, I was always thinking what do I say to this? Or what if this happens? Or how can I, be supportive to them? What if they say this? Or, what am I going to have for dinner tomorrow? Or whatever, Right. I was never really right there. Mm-hmm. I was always thinking too, and I thought, being a multitasker would make me successful too, because I could do more. And I was so proud of the fact that I could always do stuff while watching TV, while cleaning, while talking on the phone, while reading a book. And I was really proud of that. And I thought that was a good thing. And then I realized oh my God, I'm really never ever present. I'm not helping anybody when I'm doing that, because I'm not really listening to them right in the moment or being with them where they're at, which makes it harder to connect with people, and I was really never going to really be able to enjoy life if I was always going to be worried about how to enjoy it and not actually being there.
Exactly. So you found yourself shifting your own life because of a
training? I did, and it was hard because I really, and even now to this day, and it's been a few years now, I really do fall into my old habits, which I was doing for a lot longer than I've been doing mindfulness, of doing multiple things at the same time. And those were my core beliefs, that you had to do multiple things at once. That you had to jump from one activity to the other. And, I don't really, I can't even really say how I got into that in the first place. If I really just had a hard time focusing, I think I was always afraid of not doing my best. So I really never did my best, because then I could always protect myself from, not getting the results that I wanted. Right. If I was really spreading my attention everywhere, I always had an excuse ready, was that I wasn't really focused.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what happened as a result of you shifting to becoming more mindful?
Well, as a result of shifting to become more mindful, I think one, I really was able to identify, and I think this is a scary thing for people, the areas in your life where you're not happy. Like, even though you're complaining all the time about how unhappy you are, you're really not feeling it or experiencing it. And I think that was really hard because part of becoming mindful is experiencing your feelings as they happen. So it means really, like, you know, feeling the anger or feeling the sadness or feeling the loss or the anxiety, and really, like, kind of labeling the feeling, letting it go through your body, identifying where it is. So there was no more avoiding that.
And also, I heard once a definition of mindfulness that had the word non-judgmental in it. Like, just accept the feelings without judgment.
Yeah, because the reality is that we think we're our thoughts and we're really not. They're just thoughts. So it's about sort of paying attention to our thoughts as well and just kind of noticing them, but not being like, oh, you suck. Like, why are you thinking about that again? Or, oh my God, you're such a mean person. You know, it's just about paying attention to it and letting it pass by. And sort of like not gripping into it or making that who we are.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, who do you like to help? Who are the people that you tend to attract?
Well, I really tend to attract a lot of women who are they're very smart, intelligent women, and they're distressed. And it's really because they're making the wrong decisions. So maybe they feel angry all the time, or maybe they feel tired all the time. They might not like their job, or they might be frustrated if they have kids with their families or their partners, but they're not really doing anything to deal with it. So what they do is they try to, like, reward themselves for getting through a bad day. So they'll come home and they'll watch Scandal, you know, or Netflix marathons, you know, and like, but not with the intention to really be like, okay, this is a show and I'm going to watch it and I'm going to relax and I'm going to recharge, but more of a, like, zoning out, a disconnecting, you know, sort of like eating that tub of ice cream. It's just like drowning all your bad feelings, avoiding all your bad feelings. It's shutting them off, but not really, like, feeling through them. So they're still there, but it's just like kind of shoving them underneath so they all come back.
Well, and I went to your website, and I really think people need to go check it out. It's NicoleLiloia.com, am I right? Yep. And one thing I loved was your description of, do you do this, do you do that? I can help, right? There's all these, so I urge people to go look at that, because I was finding myself reading that being like, oh, yeah, I do that sometimes.
Right, yeah. I mean, and I think we all think that, like, we're unique and we have these issues and we don't want to talk about them, but, like, we really all are in the same place as everyone else. So I think it really is helpful to sort of connect with someone about it, connect with someone who's, like, studied it, who's a professional, because it really, like, normalizes it for you, and that, I think, in itself is, like, a big relief and allows you to be present, because it's not like this thing where it's like, oh my God, I'm so strange, why is this happening to me, why do I do this, you know? We all do it.
We all do. You're so right.
Yeah. So and there's ways to deal with it. It doesn't have to be that way.
That's right. Do you have programs that you offer to people, or how do you help?
Yes, people? I do. I do have I do coaching programs, which is great because I can work with people anywhere. And I think part of the thing is that people are very busy. So, you know, it's hard to, when you're looking for someone to work with and you're looking for someone local, driving there and dealing with all that. So it's really great because we could just hop on Skype or hop on the phone. And I really am like a personal support system for people because they get email access to me in between sessions, and I really love helping people really pay attention to the good parts in their lives, looking for the happy moments, identifying, like, what do they really want their life to look like, because so many times we know what we want our lives to look like, but we are not doing anything to get us to that, and it doesn't match up. But it's hard to figure out sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you're here doing this, because so many people need that guidance. Can you give sort of a little tip for people who are interested in learning, like an easy way to start being more mindful in a day-to-day life?
Sure. So I think one thing to do is really kind of focus on, a lot of mindfulness too is like a mindfulness meditation, just be focusing on your breathing. Mm-hmm. So I really recommend just starting to notice if you're even breathing. So when you really catch yourself, you could do it either when every time you go to check your email, you take a deep breath first, or every time you enter your home, you take a couple deep breaths. But I just think remembering to pause and breathe really gets us back into our bodies and sort of can give us a check-in into how we're feeling, what's going on. And just those couple of moments a day really starts to get us into the physical space again and out of our head so much. So that's just like a really simple way of doing it, is like really pay attention to your breathing. Do you ever notice yourself taking deep breaths and start making an effort to take some deep breaths and just I know.
And breathing, just thinking about it.
Myself to do that, like I try to do it in the car. I try to do it different places. Sometimes I even have to put Post-it notes up because you really like just zoom from one place to another. I live near the city, and like here we are. You're on the East Coast too. The East Coast is a fast-paced place. We're zooming from one thing to the other, one activity to the other, and we really don't pause at all. So I think if people could just start to pay attention to their breathing and just put in a couple of deep breaths every day, whether it's when you wake up, before you go to bed, when you're in the shower, right before you brush your teeth, just doing that pausing starts to really become more habitual and more natural for you.
So can you give me sort of the top 3 benefits of following through with one of your programs to become more mindful?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits, which people are surprised at because you're working on yourself, is your relationships improve. So, because when you become more aware of what you're doing, you're not as reactive. So you won't snap at people as much. You'll be able to pause more. You'll be able to think about the results of things. You're not always like worrying. Sometimes we've like made up this whole story in our heads about what's going to happen. And our bodies are ready for that. We're like ready to come home and have our partner not have taken out the garbage. Like we've already worked out the whole argument. We've already rehearsed. And then we come home and maybe they did, but we're like already like geared up for an argument. So we find something else to argue about, So I think just getting out of our heads like that and realizing how much we're over predicting, it really does improve our relationships. And I think the other thing that it happens is we start to be happier. Our mood improves because we're not always thinking about all the crappy stuff that's happening that could potentially happen.
Right. You're in the present instead of the future or the past.
Exactly. And we're not worrying about past issues either. So I think just those 2 things are huge. And then a third one is just that you will actually start, your symptoms of stress will go away. So you'll start sleeping better. Your mood will be better. So you're just going to have like all these different things. You're going to have a new appreciation for things.
That's great. So who could say no to that? I mean, better relationships, right?
Yeah.
Happier, sleeping better. Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, Nicole,
and I think you just feel so much more settled in your life because you're not like kind of hiding from things.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
When you're being present.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Can you tell everybody again where they can find you?
Yes, come over and check out my website at www.NicoleLiloia.com. And feel free to send me a message through there or send my emails on there and reach out to me if you have any questions at all about how you can work mindfulness into your lives.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you so much. And to everybody out there, please do connect with Nicole. She's awesome, and she can help you really learn. Just by watching her videos, you'll learn something about mindfulness.
There's lots of free content out there, so you could put it into your own life.
Right. Or take the step and actually hire her, because I think you won't find this anywhere else. I mean, I've never heard of anyone being a mindfulness coach, so good for you.
Thank you.
Forge the path.
I try.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and tune in next time for more from Intuition Nutrition mini-series.